Hi everybody. Today I'm gonna talk about the debate over the wealth tax in the world. That is coming from the World Economic Forum, and we can see here in this article that taxes now ultra-rich call on governments to introduce wealth taxes. So we'll just cover this topic and see where are the wealth taxes in the world at the moment, and if the wealth taxes are applied to individuals who are ultra rich, as they claim here, or maybe not. The World Economic Forum is an annual event that brings together some of the world's most influential leaders to discuss the current state and the future of the global economy. At this year's event, the topic of wealth tax was hotly debated issue. So, what is a wealth tax for those who don't know? A wealth tax is a tax on an individual's net worth. So not an income, not a salary. So this includes all the assets and liabilities of that person. The idea behind the wealth tax is to redistribute wealth from the richest individuals in society to help address the income inequality and fund social programs. So the supporters of the wealth tax argue that it is a fair way to distribute wealth and reduce the gap between the rich and the poor. On the other hand, the opponents argue that the wealth tax discourages innovation and investment, leading to slower economic growth and job creation. So during the World Economic Forum, both sides presented their arguments, with some influential figures advocating for a wealth tax, while others strongly opposed to it. And the debate sparked in an intense discussion, and media coverage of the event was significant. So, despite different views, the World Economic Forum proved to be an excellent platform for discussion and the debate surrounding the wealth tax that remains relevant today. So, the wealth tax is a very contentious issue in many Western countries, and we'll see now what's in this article here, which says that richest 1% bag nearly twice as much wealth as the rest of the world put together. So they are targeting billionaires, and they say that a tax of up to 5% on the world's multimillionaires and billionaires could raise a lot of money, and of course we know what that proposal is about. There seems to be a Survival of the Richest book that is also the foundation for the discussion. Now, let's see what's the situation now, the current situation in Europe regarding the wealth tax. So, in recent years, of course, there's been a lot of debate, and in 2019, the president of France, Emmanuel Macron, proposed a 3% tax on the revenue of the large companies. In the United States, there's been also proposal from Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, but nothing has been done so far. The implementation of wealth tax has been met with a lot of resistance from obviously wealthy individuals and business leaders. So critics argue that the wealth tax could negatively impact the economy, and what we can see here is that this is the map that shows where the wealth tax is actually implemented in Europe. We know about France. Then there is like a tax in Italy that applies to individuals with a net worth exceeding 10 millions and ranges from 0.2 to 0.8%, and this was introduced in 2020. Now we know that in Sweden the wealth tax was abolished in 2007, but the country still has a tax on high value properties, and this tax is quite high, from 0.5 to 2.5%, and applies to properties over a certain amount of value. I said already that the proposal of the wealth tax in the US would be for net worth exceeding 50 million, and will range from 2% to 6%, but nothing has been done so far. Now, this is also, an article that is talking about the current situation with the wealth tax, and there's in South America there are several countries that implemented the wealth tax. In Argentina, there's a wealth tax, and I think on individuals with a net worth that exceeds like 200 millions and ranges from 2% to 3.5%. Tax introduced in 2020. In Colombia, there is a wealth tax as well, exceeding 5 billion. So, for sure, high amount of money. There's also an Indian version of that, over the 30 million. And I think Japan also has one over 1.5 billions. In South Korea also there's another similar tax, but it's more of a real estate tax. So most of the countries tend to tax real estate rather than a wealth tax. It's probably, I think, also easier to tax real estate, because to tax the wealth is very complicated, I believe. There's another one in Thailand, and again it's a property and land tax. So some of the countries are definitely opted for that approach. There's nothing in China, but I think locally there's again some taxes on real estate. One of the really most controversial is the wealth tax that is being introduced in the Netherlands. It's called in the Dutch system the box 3 wealth tax. So this tax is basically a tax that applies to individuals with a net worth of over 50,000 euros, and the net worth is calculated by subtracting debts from the total value of your assets. So could be including, of course, savings, investment, property. It will be quite a high tax, a flat tax of 30% on a dim return of 4%. So it's a very complicated tax to calculate as well. And one of the most significant criticism on the box 3 wealth tax is that is a one-size-fits-all approach that doesn't really take into account the vast differences in the net worth between individuals. So the critics argue that the tax unfairly penalizes those with modest savings and investment. So definitely the 50,000 threshold is really low. So we can see here there's been a court case. Then for 2021 the tax will be charged on 1%. So they just tweaked it a bit. And make more changes in 2022, but yeah, I'm a bit, to be honest, worried. Also, this information is important because if you plan to invest in Europe or in other countries, this can make a big difference on your return. So while definitely taxing the billionaires is probably doesn't have a big impact on most of the people, taxing wealth that is over 50,000 euros is quite laughable. That definitely people who cannot really be considered the 1%. So are they really going too far here, or in some countries? So yeah, that's for me a clear trend. Now, of course, there are some of these wealth taxes already in place, but there's definitely a push from Davos and this World Economic Forum to introduce more of this in most of the world. Yeah, there's still of course a big debate on that, and yeah, we'll see how, what's gonna happen, but it's something that I would suggest you to consider before investing in a certain country. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to receive more informative and helpful responses, consider subscribing to our channel. You'll get notified of our latest updates and can learn something new every day. Click the subscribe button now and join our community.